Hi, I'm Gary White for Central Kentucky Television. I'm here with Dr. Trish Ciccone with Central Kentucky Optometric Associates with offices in Lebanon and Springfield. And we are here to talk about eye care news. We're kicking off 2015 with, we asked at the end of last year for people to give us some suggestions on topics that they were interested in. And I had somebody talk to me about doing a segment on pink eye. So what is commonly referred to as pink eye, but what actually is
conjunctivitis, more specifically viral conjunctivitis. There really is no such thing as pink eye. Pink eye does not come up in the medical journals. Pink eye was not on our national board exam or our state board exam. Pink eye is a term that the public has coined for any eye that looks kind of pink to red that somebody has that you think you might catch from somebody else. That's what the public has termed pink eye. But really, there is such a thing called conjunctivitis, and conjunctivitis in some cases can be contagious, and it can come from many different sources or causes, and so we're going to talk a little bit more about which conjunctivitis are contagious and which ones you have to worry about catching from somebody else.
right. Because you said there are bacterial, viral, and allergic.
Yeah,
right?
You can get any eye that's red. Is when the eye is red, it's conjunctivitis. Okay. It could be conjunctivitis caused from a viral infection. It can be conjunctivitis caused from a bacterial infection. It can be conjunctivitis caused from an allergic reaction. It can be conjunctivitis caused from chemical exposure or conjunctivitis from trauma. So there's many different sources of true conjunctivitis. The conjunctivitis that are contagious are viral and bacterial conjunctivitis, and these are the ones that fall into the category of pink eye. Pink eye is in the Modern or Urban Dictionary, so I just want you to know that you can find it in a dictionary, and you can Google pink eye.
Right.
But it really, in medical terms and in the ophthalmology world, there really is no such entity as pink eye. But a viral conjunctivitis is probably the most contagious conjunctivitis. And there's just not one virus that can cause conjunctivitis. There's many viruses that can cause conjunctivitis. Simple rhinovirus, a virus that might cause an intestinal bug can cause a conjunctivitis, a virus that causes cold like rhinovirus. The most common type of conjunctivitis that really makes you the most uncomfortable is probably caused by what's called adenovirus. And there's many strains of adenovirus also. But adenovirus, you can catch it from a cow, or you can catch it from another person. We have a lot of farmers and a lot of agriculture and a lot of folks that raise cattle around here, and they call adenovirus that the cows get, they call that pink eye too. But it's a virus, and no one ever goes blind from pink eye. That's something, but you can be pretty uncomfortable from upwards of 7 to 21 days. It generally starts in one eye, and the eye will get a little bit watery and a little bit, it itches a little bit. You get kind of a foreign body sensation, but it doesn't itch a lot. If it itches a lot, then it's probably more of an allergic reaction or allergic thing. You can get a little bit of mucus discharge with a viral conjunctivitis, but not a lot of mucus discharge. So if there's a lot of mucus discharge, it's probably more of a viral or of a bacterial infection. If the mucus is kind of long and stringy, that's more characteristic of an allergic reaction as opposed to a bacterial infection. So we do actually have a test that we can do in the office that tests for adenovirus. There used to be really no treatment, and there really is no, there's treatment, but it's off-label treatment for adenovirus or for viral conjunctivitis. We can treat it now in office with a little diluted solution of betadine. Betadine does kill 99% of the bacteria and viruses that do come in contact with. So our doctors got together several years ago and said, what can we do for this virus? And what can we do to help at least weaken the virus and not make it last so long? And hence this treatment with betadine that we do in office now. If you can catch it, kind of like the same thing as the flu, if you can catch it in that first couple days and treat it, you don't necessarily cure the virus, but you will weaken it and shorten its length and its intensity there. But it generally starts in one eye, and after about the 3rd to 5th day, it will move over to the other eye. And it generally peaks somewhere in that 5th to 7th to 9th day. After it peaks, then you start getting a little better and a little better. So generally, on the course of the course of a viral conjunctivitis, the first step is getting into the office so we can get you diagnosed to make sure that's really what you have. And sometimes the first couple days we're not real sure because some of these signs and symptoms kind of overlap, and so it's sometimes kind of tricky to get that definitive diagnosis right off front.
Are you allergic? Or excuse me, are you contagious from day one?
You are contagious from day one. When you start, you're probably even contagious before you have symptoms. You just don't know it. Very often with viral conjunctivitis, you'll get swollen lymph nodes. You might get a little a sore throat, and you may even run a little low-grade fever. In children, about 20% of kids that end up with a conjunctivitis end up with a concurrent ear infection also. So first thing is to get a diagnosis. Is it viral? Is it bacterial? Is it allergic? Or do you have a history of trauma or exposure to a chemical? And find out really what the cause is. And that will gauge our treatment. If it's truly looks like a bacterial infection, we're going to put you on an antibiotic. If it's a viral infection, we're probably going to treat you with betadine if you're agreeable to that. And we might put you on a little steroid to dampen the immune response after a couple days. We might put you on a little combination antibiotic steroid because sometimes you can get a secondary bacterial infection after the first primary viral infection. That happens, when you have a cold, and the cold is a virus. You can't really treat the cold, but then you end up with a bacterial sinus infection after. Same kind of theory there. So sometimes we will. Sometimes with these viral infections, you can get some corneal infiltrates, and they'll be uncomfortable. They'll cause a little, usually temporary blurring in your vision, halos, glare, monocular diplopia, those kinds of symptoms, and the steroid can help dampen and lessen the corneal infiltrates towards the end. The one good thing about it when you get the corneal infiltrates is we know you're at the end of your infection because that's during the course of the infection when they come. So you need to be monitored during this course. You need to, if you work with children, elderly, or work closely with people, probably take upwards of 5 to 7 days off of work, depending on how you respond, and whether or not if you get the betadine treatment, sometimes we can shorten that time.
We often hear of children who get pink eye, so to speak. Is it are children more susceptible to it, or can anybody kind of get?
Well, anybody can get it, that's for sure. And I think children, just because of their hygiene habits, generally tend to be a little more susceptible. They don't wash their hands as much. They often have more hand-to-eye contact, more hand-to-nose contact. And just more, you can catch it in anywhere. You can catch it from putting your hand on a doorknob that's got some of those little virus particles. Then you touch your eye or touch your nose or touch your mouth. There you go. Okay. You inoculated yourself. It's a viral conjunctivitis is generally very highly contagious. And you have to, just do the same thing, just like a cold, just like the flu is contagious. You have to watch your contact with yourselves and others. You have to, don't share straws, drinks, pillows, washcloths. You want to don't touch your eye and then go shake somebody's hand. Common sense, and wash your hands frequently. And during the acute phase of your illness, when you're the most highly contagious, just stay away from the public, and that generally can help keep the exposure down.
Right. So there's some of the facts about what's commonly referred to as pink eye, but it's actually conjunctivitis.
Viral conjunctivitis.
It's viral conjunctivitis. And you should head to the doctor, your eye doctor, and get checked for it. You can go to Central Kentucky Optometric Associates with offices in Lebanon and Springfield. They have to help diagnose that so they can help cure it or solve it somehow, solve the problem some way.
Get you through it is more like it. Get you through it. It's
Exactly.
really what.
Well, thank you very much.
You're very welcome.
All right, again, I've been talking with Dr. Trish Ciccone with Central Kentucky Optometric Associates with offices in Lebanon and Springfield. Scary White for Central Kentucky Television.